On the campaign trail, you called yourself a nationalist. Some people saw that as emboldening white nationalists.
Now, let's stop right there. What kind of question is that? You called yourself a nationalist. Some people saw you as emboldening white supremacy. So what she's trying to say there is you're a white supremacist for using the word nationalist. And if you've watched this show long enough, you know that Theodore Roosevelt gave a speech in the early part of the last century called the New Nationalism. The word nationalism has been used in many ways. We have the National Socialist Party. We know what that is. That's the Nazis. But they never say to a democratic socialist, hey, Hitler used the word socialist. Are you a Nazi? Because they agree with the socialists. That's number one. Number two, nationalist is a word that's been used among progressives, particularly Republican progressives, for a century. Because what they mean by that is an all-powerful central national government, which is one reason I don't like the word. It's nothing to do with racism or anything else. But they're trying to take that word and paint him in the worst possible way. Now, this is outrageous to keep accusing the president of racism and being a white nationalist. And you go back to Acosta, he's trying to show that the president of the United States is anti-non-whites, anti-immigrants. Go back to the New York Times guy who was a character witness for Acosta. Why does the president keep dividing people? It's almost as if they all got together and said, yeah, here's what we're going to do. And I suspect they may have, because it's a close circle. They all talk to each other. Notice the common theme. You, Mr. President, are a racist. That's the common theme. And then they put a question mark behind it. Go ahead.
People are also saying
that it's such a racist
There
question.
are some people that say that now the Republican Party is seen as supporting white nationalists because of
now the Republican Party supports white nationalists. Now the truth is the Democrat Party did. In fact, the white nationalists came out of the Democrat Party. The Klan, immediately after the Civil War and the Confederacy lost, Confederate generals created the Klan, and they were Democrats. Segregation, all the way to the Supreme Court, the Plessy decision. Democrats on the Supreme Court. 1924, at the Democrat Convention, at Madison Square Garden, Klansmen marching down the street in white hoods and white sheets, called it the Klan Bake. They even fought over whether to take a provision that had been suggested for the Democrat platform, anti-lynching provision. That was controversial at the Democrat Convention less than 100 years ago. 50, 60 years ago, Democrat governors blocking little black kids from going to school with little white kids. 50, 60 years ago, Democrats turning hoses on peacefully marching civil rights and black organizations. This isn't a Republican thing. The president hasn't done a thing in his life that justifies this kind of suggestion. And the Republican Party suggesting the Republican Party, and she works for PBS, Public Broadcasting System. You pay her salary.
Want to see more? Sign up for LevinTV.